Hello everyone.
This is Ashley. Why you need to know Ashley, he's doing the centre bunker security. Okay, so we tell all the kids, all the parents, whatever, you're going to use toilets, use the ones in here because we're going to have somebody watching the toilets. Okay? The one over there, the push button one, okay, nobody watches it. Okay, you can push it, you don't know who's inside the toilets. You actually have no idea. Okay? So that's why Ashley's here. And he'll be wearing one of these and he'll be sitting basically in the doorway. Don't be scared if you walk in the doorway and there's some guy sitting there. No, he's not an intruder, he's actually working with the club.
Question?
Yes?
But we still send children with a partner to
Yes.
the toilets?
Yes, parent
Thank
or
you.
partner.
Just wanted to check.
Yes.
Yes. On a Sunday morning, what time will you be here from?
Sunday morning, not at all.
No,
It's only
midweek.
training.
I mean, wait.
It's only, sorry, I should have said that. It's only Monday to Thursday training.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be here from...
We've got a different groundsman this year, but
No.
he's not here today, but you'll see him
No.
over time. Okay?
Right.
Thank you, Ashley.
No worries.
You can go.
Thank you.
No worries, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley.
Okay, thanks. Another thing too, with your gear, if you have, I think you've all got your t-shirts and all your kit and everything. I do apologise, we're supposed to give you backpacks, but they're locked up in the rooms over on the other side. We haven't got the keys until Tuesday. But throughout the year, or we'll let you know, when we've got the backpacks. Also, you'll be able to get rain jackets, other jackets like what Dimitri's got. If you just, I should have brought mine along, one of those jackets. You'll be able to get one of those as well. Again, we just don't have keys to the rooms, and so we haven't got them at the moment. Okay. First things first, I just thought I'll do the intro. You don't even know who I am, probably some of you.
Who are you?
I'll tell you in a second. We'll just do a quick intro around, make it as quick as possible. We'll do it this way. Your name, the team you coach, which is your favourite football team, and why. Okay, I'll start it off. Kevin Milstein, I'm the president of Maccabi FC. My favourite team is Melbourne Victory, and it's because when the A-League started, I wanted to support someone, and they were the first team. Next.
Ask Michael first.
Go.
He's the next.
Go already.
Come on. Bernie Weiss, I coach the under 8s. I've been doing it a long time. My favourite team, Arsenal and Collingwood.
You're also the mini
And
And
Mini Reese.
Mini Roos coordinator. So if you've got problems, come to me or Michael. We'll talk about your roles as coaches, but just being involved with coaches, coaching the kids. Don't get involved with politics, and if there's any issues with parents, get the managers to handle it.
What is Mini Reese, please? What age groups?
From 8-year-olds to 11, or 12. 12.
Under 12?
But
Under 12. Just check, just wanting everyone to know.
12 are on the border, so they're
Full
not
document
really...
today.
Yes,
We'll explain that in a minute.
explain that, all right.
Thank
Next.
you.
I'm going to copy Bernie.
I'm Michael Ken, Coach Michael. I'm the coaching coordinator at Maccabi, and I'll handle everything what's to do with coaching, and so hopefully I'll be talking a little bit more about that soon, and and we can start. But before that,
I'm Giselle. I'm the admin person in the office, and I don't support any club, but I'm here to support you.
I'm Daniel from the CSG. For those of you that don't know, it's the community security group. What they're tasked with is protecting Jewish life and the Jewish way of life. So, shul, synagogues, schools, institutions, clubs. So why I'm presenting today is because it's really important that we understand what our role is in protecting our players. Not only are we here to protect just their player welfare, so that's what we'll have an MPP presentation on later, but we're also here to protect them in terms of security. So first, to understand what we need to report, we have to understand what is suspicious in our environment. So if you were to look out in Caulfield Park, you'd see some pretty strange things, I'm not going to lie. I've been at this club since 2003, and there's been some very, very strange things about. But what you need to know in order to establish what's suspicious is to establish the normal. So yeah, you'll have a lot of strangers in the park, but that's normal. It's a public park, we can't deny them access or anything, but what we need to know is what is suspicious. So what can be suspicious? Mr. Cohen, what can be suspicious?
somebody watching you very closely or something like that. Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
What else can be suspicious?
Someone taking photos.
What sort of people?
Objects.
Objects. People. Objects.
Cars.
Cars. People in cars. Okay? So those are the 4 categories we're working under, okay? So people in the park, they'll tend to be loiterers. They might have a camera. David is our only cameraman who is actually allowed to be the cameraman here. So if you see someone taking photos, you can politely ask them not to take photos. Because firstly, it's not only player welfare, it's also for a security standpoint. Cars, no car under any circumstance other than ambulance or police should ever be close to children. Okay? So you need to move your kids, firstly move your kids as far away from the road as possible. Don't let them run across the road because they can just get rammed, unfortunately. Objects. You need to try keep your bags as close as possible in the technical area, because if you leave your bags all over the place, you don't know what is suspicious in your environment. So if you can concentrate your bags, then you can figure out what will be suspicious, because I believe we'll all have the same bag. The kids all have the same bag generally. So if you can see a bag that doesn't fit in, you'll know that. Cars, part of objects as well. Unfortunately, in the environment we're in, we are under quite a lot of threats as Jews. Okay, so I don't know if anybody's heard of like the Antipodean resistance. In essence, they are Nazis. I'm not sugarcoating it at all, and they know exactly where we are. In fact, they've been stickering outside the Caulfield Park. You see, you know when you drive in, how there's the big sign that says Caulfield Park and the clubs associated with it? They've had swastika stickers on top of it. And I can show you a photo later if you want. I have other photos as well, which I'm not good. So yeah, so we need to know that the threats aren't just the people that look like me, look like Nathan with a great beard. So it's just got to know that people that look like your everyday Tom, Dick and Harry can be here to cause harm to you. So how do you now identify what is suspicious? You're going to go with the ABG. It's not ABC, it's ABG. A for appearance. So, prime example today. It's hot weather. Somebody rocks up with a big coat, hands in their pockets, looking nervous.
Yeah.
That's also part of B. Sweating. B, which is behavior. So if you see them loitering around the kids, getting awfully close to the kids. I'm sorry, Aaron, you're the youngest one here, so I'm annoying you. So, if you see them acting nervous around the kids, or avoiding eye contact with you, or other people around the club, or hanging just a bit back in the shadows in the tree line, over there along the side, that's just suspicious behavior. And G, which is the most important one, gut feel. If they don't feel right in your environment, don't let them near you, okay? Move your kids away from them. Does anybody have any questions about that so far? Anything?
But a lot of parents, they're taking photos. I mean,
So you can
it's naturally that they...
If
But
you-
you do recognize the parents.
If you know it's a parent, that's a different situation. They're not a stranger.
While
taking
the game in the process, they do take it. And you can't... I mean, you can derive yourself from coaching or giving the instructions and tell people not to take photos.
It's a parent taking photo of their own child. That's a completely different story.
But on opposition sides, you don't know if it's...
Opposition, you can talk to the opposition coach, you get your team manager. Do you know this person? Team manager, to ask the team manager from the other team, is this one of the parents on your team?
It's okay
Yes.
to relay to them their potential security risk because
Yeah. You can, the best way for this club is child protection, okay? Above all, we're not just here to coach, we're here to protect the kids. Okay, so the best way that I've found for thinking about this is called the OODA loop. I was hoping I'd have it up here so you could see it. OODA. So O, observe. You observe something out of the ordinary, something which doesn't fit in. You will orient yourself. So if you think you need to take a closer look, make it just simple as a step. Step closer. Or you think it's really suspicious, like a car which has been left there and there's wires or something sticking out, you move everyone away. So you orient, you move yourself away. Then D is decide. What am I going to do? Am I going to just sit there twiddling my thumbs? No. The last thing, you never do nothing. If you do something, you want to act, okay? So you can call, there'll be 2 security guards patrolling here. If you're really, really concerned, call the police. And then if you just want advice, you can call CSG. So they have a 24-hour hotline which you can call for advice, or if you think it's an emergency, they will get people down here as fast as they can.
And also, I just have to interrupt. In your
Yeah.
booklets, there's a flyer,
Yeah.
CSG flyer.
Yeah, it's in
No, inside. If you go
Inside.
inside, there's actually a flyer
Security
inside.
firefighters.
Okay?
So the number is 1300 000 CSG 274. Does anybody have any questions?
Is the manager the same as well?
Managers, you can send the number out. This is the number.
What happens when we play away?
Playing away, they can still, CSG can still come if you feel like you're being. Example, I've had one of my sisters were playing. They had one of the players on their team took a coin out of their pocket, threw it on the field. Said, "Jews, come get the coin."
Oi.
So yeah,
And yeah, it's
it happens.
It does.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Younger kids, it hopefully won't happen, but with the older guys, I know the seniors, there've been a few incidents here and there. But if you feel uncomfortable, just report it, okay? The worst thing you can do is nothing.
What was the phone number?
At 1300 000 274. And CSG is running a session next week this time. I'm not sure the exact location, but it is for all Maccabi members. Yeah. So yeah. So if you can do that,
If you register, they give you
they'll give you the location.
Yes,
Yes.
one incident that in the progress of a game, a player came and he took a keeper from a player and he threw it on the ground. I stopped the game and I called the manager. I said, "What happened here? It's can't be done. It has to be done something." So the manager did complain. He took that player off and he didn't come back to the game. This is what you have to do.
I had that in last year as well. I had a player, one of my best players is about this tall. You wouldn't see me if you're looking straight. He's that small. One kid, biggest kid on the other team, couldn't go near him. So you started calling him a little dirty little Jew. Got him straight through the FFE that day. But through the FFE thanks to good old Greg Herberts, who we're good friends with. And that got escalated, and that kid, I believe his family got fined. And he got a formal warning. So just so you know, the FFE is also stamping out all racism. So,
Yeah.
any questions?
So
Yeah.
the CSG
CSG also-
training is next Sunday?
next time.
2 to 5.
Yeah. And it's just going to be talking more about what I've just said, just in much greater depth, and you'll also go through actual scenarios where you'll just implement this knowledge.
Do we have to go to that?
You don't have to, but it's advised. And also to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I just want to reiterate something that Daniel said. On match days, we have 2 security guys that just walk around the park from 9 till 1. Okay, it's all so they're there if you need them. You know, grab them, help them, whatever. You do have that CSG flyer in your booklet, so you can download the app if you need to report something. That's fine. My strong advice: home games or away games, it doesn't matter. If you feel threatened, if you feel physically threatened by the other team, whether it's the kids, whether it's the parents, wherever it happens to be, take your team, walk off. I don't care if you're playing for the Champions League final, walk off. It's not that important to stay on the ground and be threatened, okay? I'm talking about physically threatened, okay? Don't be scared to just grab your team and walk off the field and take them away and go home. You know, then obviously Football Victoria will ask us the question, why did you walk off, and we'll tell them why.
Do you need any evidence? Any
No,
mobile evidence?
no, I mean, you'll have enough witnesses around doing whatever. And part of the reason, part of what Daniel was talking about is why we handed out all these fluoro high-vis type of vests, so that when you're on the park on training nights, we can see who the coaches are, we can see who you are. I do realise probably the yellow ones might be on a little bit on the small side, so if you need a bigger side, that's fine, but if you wanted to swap to one of these things, that's fine too. These are just designs you throw over the top of a jumper or a jacket, so it's easy for you, okay? I will hand over to Giselle, which is going to explain something about FPP.
Okay, so we've discussed security within the community, but now we have to discuss security within the club itself. And obviously our primary concern is the welfare of the kids, and therefore it's a Maccabi Victoria non-negotiable that every single one of you have to do our MPP training online, which is Member Protection Policy. So if you haven't received the link from me, obviously after today, and I've got a full list of all the coaches, I'm going to send to you tomorrow the link to do the course. It is a little bit time consuming, it can take up to 35 minutes.
But it's online, isn't it?
It's online totally, and you can do it in portions. So every time it gets through a section, you can stop and come back to it another time, and it keeps track of where you're at. So we're going to absolutely stamp down on it. If you're not completed it after the first 2 games, you will not be paid. Okay? We cannot have you as part of the club without abiding by these rules of Maccabi Victoria, because if anything should happen and we're taken to a tribunal and you haven't done it, we don't stand a chance. Okay, so on top of doing your MPP training, which really, you all know it, it's not an exam, okay, it's just common sense, I have to have a copy of your Working with Children's. So if you haven't sent it to me, just respond to my email and send me back. If you're applying for one of them, just send me the application receipt, and then you get it, send it to me.
Under 18-year-olds don't need it, do they? If they are under 18, they're considered children themselves and don't need one, is that correct?
In terms of the MPP, you
No.
will still have to do it.
No, they're working with children.
I'm not
Yes,
sure
you're
if that's the
Well,
case.
it's still got 17, so basically it's 18 and above.
That's
so
right.
Yeah,
it's still got
so
17
just
year
clarifying.
olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
So-
so on the, the MPP,
The training, yeah.
so I did that, and then there was a thing putting working with children's details into that. Is that enough, or you actually need a photocopy of the...
If I can get a photocopy, that would be great as well. So, yeah. So, and obviously if you have any problems, just email me, call me, I can help you, and all of that. So I'll send you all the link. I am assuming because you're all here, you have registered on our new website?
Well, or I put them in.
Okay. So as you're all aware, we have a new website and a whole new registration system, which is 99% everybody's okay with it, but there's still some things to learn. So now that you're the coach of a particular team, we're going to add you to that team, and you'll be able to have access to your team's information with regards to emails, telephone numbers. With that access, you can actually email your team directly through the website, as opposed to keeping the emails addresses somewhere else and using your own. So you can email directly through there. Obviously, our preference is that you do all communication through TMAP with your team,
Or even through the website.
or through the website, or through your
Or
revolution.
team manager.
Yeah. Team manager.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just clarifying,
Yeah.
because some of the coaches are new.
Yeah.
So I'm just clarifying that.
So it's
That's a good point, Michelle.
That is a good point. I was not thinking that I'm only talking to the coaches. Yes, team manager is to do everything, but everything will be on team app or the website, and you guys will still have access to your team's contact details as well in order to receive any information. Anybody got any questions with regards to MPP or working with children?
And does everyone know contacting Giselle is registrations at
It's on the front page
MFCC?
of your
Okay.
thing.
You've
Yeah.
got all contact details. I'm going to run through the booklet.
Yeah, and just be aware that once you've done it with Maccabi Victoria, that's it for life. So if you ever want to get involved in anything else within Maccabi Victoria, like lovely Nathan is coming with me to Mexico, you're done. So just do it.
You're stuck, you can't get out.
Yeah, so
I just want to add that the MPP is there to protect you, okay? In case some kid runs up and tells their mummy, oh, did you know Coach so-and-so just tapped me on the bum or whatever? Okay, the whole MPP thing is there to protect you, so you don't get in trouble, okay? So that's the importance of it. Okay? Quickly, before we hand over to Michael, you'll find in all of your booklets that there's on the front, just on the very, very front page, that there's a couple of first aid cards. Okay, it's got phone numbers. It's got a couple of suggestions on first aid, front and back. Okay, If you haven't got one, we've got more here. It does unfortunately have the old website because we made it last year, but we'll get out new ones. We just had a first aid course run last week. We've got 2 more coming up in the next month or so. If you haven't done a first aid course, if you want to update your first aid course, please go to the website, log on to the event and join the first aid course. I know we've got 2 people here that came last week, which is great. Good to see you. And so please do so. You also have on, there's a Facebook group page called MFCC Coaches Resources. That's linked through the website. If you go on the website, you go to Club Roles, look at Coaches Corner. Actually, in Coaches Corner, there's a lot of resources, but there's also this Facebook group page, which every now and then we'll put in bits of interesting information that have just come up recently, or articles or whatever. Please take use of that. On the website, as Giselle was explaining, you've all been registered into the website, you've all been linked to your teams on the website, and therefore you'll be linked to your team managers, and not all of you have got team managers. So that's another matter. We just have to keep on pushing, trying to get team managers. I think we've got about 60% of the teams with team managers, 40% without team managers. I actually haven't got any update thing on the website, but you're always welcome to contact us and say, has my team got a team manager? Because you're going to need a team manager, as we were talking about, Michelle and Giselle were talking about. You don't need to contact the parents. That's the role of the team manager. If you have an issue with a kid, talk to the team manager. It's not your issue. And the parents should not be contacting you either. It's not their business to contact you. They contact the team manager. If you've got a parent coming to you and saying whatever, just stand back a bit and say, look, you've got to discuss that with the team manager and go through the right channels. Okay? It's just trying to deflect that sort of responsibility off you.
I had the contact from my team manager, and he says I haven't been updated with the full list of the parents. I said I don't have it myself, but
okay, so if they're a registered team manager,
yeah,
they're in the system, which means that they can connect to all the parents in the system.
And I was told that there was a player was pulled out, so he doesn't have a proper list. Is it right? Is it correct? I was told that a player was pulled out from the team. Is that right?
Maybe it was updated after he received the list.
So I said, no, the best is to ask Michael or
It's the mini roos coordinator or the boys coordinator.
Okay.
And go through that way. But yes.
The parent is approaching us and asking a technical question. Why is my child playing on that position? Are we...
We'll discuss that.
Yeah. Michael will talk about those coaching issues when you go out there. Okay, I just want to go roughly through the booklet. Your booklets are all very similar, but they're slightly different depending on if you're doing boys teams, girls teams, if you're doing mini roos teams, junior teams, etc. But the basics are, on the front of your booklet, you've got your contact details. Okay, you've also got the 2 first aid cards as well. Okay, on the inside front cover, I'll just wait till on the inside front cover, you will have security matters. There's Malcolm Gendell's the head of our security. He couldn't make it here today, but there's emergency numbers if you need them. Okay, please put them in your phone if you need them. Then importantly too.
Just for myself, Hatzala is.
Hatzala is the.
Oh, it's a. For those uninitiated, Hatzala is it's kind of like a Jewish ambulance, but they're actually just around the corner. And we have called them on a number of occasions. They get here within 3 minutes, whereas the ambulance can take 20 minutes.
Yeah. And that's for the children. There's a
children, parents.
Sorry, there's a timing which is great, but is there another reason that'd be the first choice, or?
Oh, only because they're around the corner.
And
speed. You can call triple O.
And they call triple O for you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So then they hand over.
Yeah,
and the ambulance love them.
Yes.
Awesome. Great, thank you.
Yes, exactly right. Thanks, Paul. Okay, first page. The equipment that you should be getting from us. If you haven't got this equipment, let us know and we'll get it for you. Okay? I'm not going to go through every piece in there. This next page is what we expect from you. Things like working with children cards, doing your MPP, etc., etc. Okay? That's what we expect from you. The next 3 pages are suggestions. Well, actually, it's more than suggestions. It's actually the coach's etiquette or plan. the training sessions, the training plans, match days, rotations. Okay, so that's what we're telling you. That's your guideline. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's always grey areas and things, but that's your guideline. Okay, and I'm sure Michael and Igor and Bernie will tell you more about that as time goes on. Football philosophy here, which is basically about development. Okay, I have to say, I look at it as a president. Our role is to create Matildas and Socceroos. That's our role. How we do it, well, that's up to us, how we figure that one out. Okay? So it's not about just crash and bash and win the cup and win the title, it's about actually developing the players. Okay, then we've got codes of conduct. You don't have to read all of this, please believe me. You do need to read the coach's one though. But you need to know, because if a parent's doing something, or a spectator, or the team manager doing something that you think's a bit wrong, just go back and have a look at the codes of conduct. Okay? If they're doing something wrong against the codes of conduct, then you've got something to discuss with them, or maybe come back and discuss with us. Okay? If we move on, we've got some important, very important things. Okay, Jude, where's my goals? Okay, there's an explanation in there, and it's also different age groups get their goals either set up or pick up their, or the parents pick up their goals, etc., etc. The complication we have this year is under 12s, as I think as Bernie alluded to, is a grey area, and that's why your under 12 booklet, whoever's doing under 12s, you've got a separate booklet. There's actually an extra page in yours. It's a grey area because you need 5-metre goals, and we've actually ordered some new 5-metre goals in. We have to figure out where to store them, how we're going to get them across the grounds, and all of that kind of stuff. But that's in hand at the moment, so it's kind of it falls a little bit out of here at the moment. But the under 12 group will be told where they can get their goals from.
Excuse my ignorance. Is 5 metres smaller
Bigger.
than
Bigger.
than what?
No, the other one's
Bigger than the 11s and 10s.
Bigger than 10s and 11s,
Yes,
but
that's right.
smaller
More
than
than
13
the
and
regular
14.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you. That's
Yes.
what I
13, 14s are the main goals that you can't see there. They're phantom
Yeah.
goals at the moment.
Yes.
The regular goals we've been using in the past are the 3-metre width ones, but because of the under 12s, they have to use 5-metre ones, and so now the under 12s and actually the under 11s as well, we're moving into the 5-metre goals.
So, under 11,
Yep.
5 metre.
5-metre. Yeah. I should have said that.
So, Kevin, being new to the club myself, what's the logistics that involved with setting up goals, funded 13s, I should say?
Yep.
Do you have fixed posts and then you have to put on nets and the like?
Yes,
Is that how
so
it's
from this room, okay, there's
Yeah.
actually, I could have brought in one of the wheelie bins, but we have wheelie bins where you put the nets in,
right.
poles, all that
Corner
kind of
flag.
stuff. Sorry,
Yeah.
corner
Corner
flags, all of the stuff you need to set up goals. Okay, the groundsman who'll be putting the wheelie bins out of the bunker here, right, and it's got a number on it. The number relates to your field.
Right.
And
Okay.
who needs to set it?
Sorry? The parents.
That's a roster.
Parents and coach?
No. Well, you
Manager
Coach
and
should
doctor.
be-
I did help many times.
Coach should be coaching, warming up the team while the parents are setting up the goals.
Exactly.
If the coach helps out setting up the goals, I can guarantee you'll be doing this every week for the rest of your life.
You need to manage the kids, you need to manage
You're there for the kids.
the warm-up and the training. You tell the team manager the goals are your responsibility. The team manager goes to the parents and says the goals are your responsibility. The parents then tell the dogs the goals are your responsibility. Okay? That's the way it's supposed to work.
It's a tough gig now.
when it's needed.
Yeah, you get again, you're the coaches, you're not going to get this information, but there'll be a ground allocation that comes out and tell the teams who puts the goals up and who takes them down. And that's in all of them. That's the permanent ones and that's the plastic ones as well. Okay? That allocation goes out to all the team managers. You'll get copies of it as well. But, so you'll be able to see, you'll be able to work out the timings if you need to be there at the ground a little bit earlier or leave a bit later or whatever.
Yeah, by definition, the under 13s are going to have a lot of work because normally it's the under 12s who set up The goals, unfortunately, now it's down to 13.
Exactly.
This is bad news. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's bad news.
Well,
The 13s and 14s got fixed goals.
Yes, but no, what he's saying is that
No,
last year,
Yes.
it was the 12s that set up the fixed goals
Oh, yes.
before the 13s
Yeah.
came
Right,
along.
okay.
Now it's the 13s have to be the first ones to put it up.
Right.
sure.
Okay, next page, where's my ref? Okay, the refs we direct to this bunker here, to these rooms here. There's a ref room down there, okay? They shouldn't be going, sometimes they go down to the big pavilion. The big pavilion's for the men's teams. We don't tell the refs to go there, we tell them to come here. So if you need to find a ref, that's for the junior teams. If you've
What if
got
the
the-
ref doesn't show up?
Sorry?
What if the ref doesn't show up?
Then it's written here.
Or that's what I'm going to show up.
Oh, he's here.
If a ref doesn't show up, then you have to allocate someone. But this is for, where's the ref thing is for under 12s and above. If you're not under 12s and above, you haven't got this page. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Some of the books are similar, but they're a little bit different. Okay, under 12 and above, you need to have an official ref. Okay, otherwise, if you don't, and also under 12 and above, duties of linesman. Okay, so if you're appointed a linesman, not you, but if the team manager's appointed a parent to be a linesman, they say, I don't know what to do, well, you can give them the book and say, read that. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Is there an offside in under 12?
Yes,
Yes.
under 12.
9 aside, offside?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Half pitch
Well, under 12
offside.
last year was 11 aside offside, so what they've done is they've just made it 9, but everything else still, and half pitch, but everything else is as if it was 11 aside. Okay, so introducing offside concepts for them. Yeah.
Okay.
Under 12 is full pitch? Under 12 is not full pitch,
No,
is it
half-
3/4? Oh, it's still half.
So it's going across the field. You can go across. Another page on ground marshals. Again, it's not your responsibility to appoint ground marshals as a team manager. We are suggesting that every team should have a ground marshal. For the simple reason, basically, if people get a little bit antsy on the field, and the ground marshal can tell them to quiet them down. It's only there for you to read through.
Referees can sometimes request them as well. The referee can actually demand that they walk on and off the field by
I
ground.
thought it was an
And also-
SFA requirement ultimately to have that.
And also keeping the parents of the club away from the touch line.
Yes, that's written there.
It's written.
It's written there. The mini roos guys, you've got the one that talks about. Oh yes, this is the one. For the mini roos, it actually says for mini roos, you've got the ones that talks about the game leader.
Yeah.
Okay, so the game leader is basically your
Captain.
ref, well, your
No, not captain.
no, your referee.
They're like a referee, but you basically are there for both to help both sides enjoy the game as well as enforce the rules. But at the same time, you could point out to the kids, try to take this, do this. You're a game leader. You're not just a referee.
Explaining the rules.
Yeah, sometimes you could explain how to do a throw it and then make them ask them to take it
A little bit
again.
of coaching.
It's kind of coaching, but not full-on coaching. It's just basically trying to help the kids understand the rules of the game better, whilst in the framework of refereeing, if you like.
Again, this is not something you have to memorize. It's just something that you just should know. Because it's not your responsibility. Ground manager is not, ground marshal is, game leader, I should say. It's not your responsibility to be game leader. It's not your responsibility to appoint one. But you just should know that there needs to be a game leader here. So if the team manager hasn't got a game leader ready, we'd be asking why. It's all written here. Okay. Okay, we have a weather policy. Now the one about summertime, well, it doesn't really apply too much, but we did have to cancel a day because of the weather on summer. What you need to know is in winter time we play rain and shine, hail not, and certainly lightning not. Okay, no hail, no lightning, and if the grounds are so sodden that the ball won't move, it's too dangerous for the players, so therefore games will be cancelled.
Who plays that policy? Is the club and the coach? Is it a combined effort or?
It's a combined effort.
So I mean, you can say, if you guys call it, we can.
We would put.
But if you say it's okay, and I go, well, it's not, I'm call it.
Well, we would be overriding.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go out there and say we can't play today. Yeah,
So,
okay.
well, just for clarification, referee for 12s and above will actually is responsible for deciding whether or not it's safe to play.
So I was thinking, okay,
But-
training.
Training, yeah. Training is obviously the club's decision, but otherwise, if you decide, for example, not to play, but the referee says, I think it's okay, it's a ball.
Okay, for those of you coaching girls teams, there's some ideas here on how to coach girls teams, and it's written by a professional, written by someone that actually has played professional sport. And also, this professional sports person only has daughters. So he's gone out to the games and he's watched the difference between the way boys have been coached and the girls have been coached.
So which page you referring to?
Ideas on how to coach girls. A flyer there about team app. Okay, all the information about games, venues, etc., will be going out on team app. Also, your teams are in there. The names of your teams, if you're under 12 and above, the numbers of your players. So the numbers on the shirts of your players. It's all in team app. Everything's in team app. And we're going to be pushing team app. If you don't have team app, you won't know what's going on in the club. Okay?
I just asked you.
And on the last, and for those that are under 12 and above, for those that are under 12 and above, on the last page you will get there's 2 pages on the offside rule. It was too hard to actually make any illustrations and that, otherwise I'd have to have 56 pages on trying to make the offside rule. It's just what's straight off the FV website, what the offside rule is all about, in case you need to discuss it with your team manager, parents, etc.